Do you have any frameworks or ways that you think about what sort of roles or tasks should be outsourced versus should be an in-house hire?
I mean, it really depends on the experience of the people that own the company, right? So I'll work with a lot of couples and, whether it's the husband or the wife that's the BCBA, maybe the other person has finance background or, business background. And so how to do this, so we don't have to outsource that. But typically when I'm working with a BCBA owned company, it's like you have to get an accountant and you have to get an attorney and you need them right now. I don't remember who told me this, but it was in one of our AMAs. You never need an attorney in 2 weeks, right? Like you need an attorney right now. That's always how it is. And so having that relationship is so important. Someone that you can go to and ask a question and you don't feel like an idiot because, attorneys, I don't know, some attorneys aren't so approachable.
Yeah.
So having that relationship, and the same with an accountant, right? Hey, we're growing really quickly. So you have to be aware that you're going to have a larger payroll tax this quarter. So we have to prepare for that. Things like this, because those do happen. And then after those key roles, then it's like, what do you dislike doing, right? Mm-hmm. Like I have some BCBAs that don't like to do intakes. That surprises me. But, okay, then let's figure out who needs to be in that position to be able to do those effectively so that they're successful, right? So some people love to do marketing. Other people hate it, right? So it really depends on what it is that you like to do and what you dislike to do, or what you find difficult and don't have the time to figure it out, right? So, it really just depends. And so what we often ask when we're starting out is write your dream job, like, oh, perfect. Everything's wonderful. And I come in and I'm like skipping, right? Like, and what does that look like? And then what is keeping you from that job, right? Well, I'm dealing with billing and I have all these authorizations. Then you need a biller, right? So let's find a biller. So it really depends, right?
Mm-hmm. And as organizations are kind of growing, kind of one thing that I have experienced as also someone who's just kind of bootstrapped and, had done things on their own, is that you obviously then have to balance sustainable growth in terms of like, what can I afford? So like, maybe I don't want to do billing right now, but can I reasonably hire a biller? And so, do you have any ways that you help folks kind of figure out and prioritize like what to do right now or how to prioritize the hires?
Yeah, absolutely. And so totally, this has to work financially for your company. But I will say, like, billing is a huge job. And, like this is one that we see the life cycle, right? Like BCBA, first 6 months, they have to do it, right? They have no choice. And they really should learn how to do it anyway. So, but there gets to be a point where, you're just doing so much and you're working 60, 70 hours a week. And it's like, yeah, you're saving, I don't know, $400 a month. But like, is this worth your sanity? Are you still an effective clinician when you're working 80 hours a week? Right. So there is that piece of it too. Like, can we get some of your life back? Is your family okay with you working 80 hours a week? Are you okay with working that?
Yeah.
So there is that piece as well. So we need to build the system so that you can get down to a normal amount of hours that you want to work. Again, some people want to work 50, 60 hours a week, and other people are like, I'd like to work 20, maybe 25, 30, right? So how do we get you there? And, putting in those benchmarks. Once you're making this amount of money, you have this level of quality services, right? And you're at this level of profitability, then we're hiring a virtual assistant. Then we're hiring, an intake specialist. Then we're hiring another BCBA, right? So those are the things that you want to put in place. And that goes back to the vision, right? That April loves to talk about is, what do you want this to look like? How big is too big, right? Is this a clinic and in-home? Is this just in-home? Are we adding speech? Are we adding OT? Are we, right? So knowing what it is that you want to build is so important. The other thing that I try to tell people is how, at the end of the day, pretty much everybody's going to sell this, right? So is this going to be a large percentage of your retirement plan? And if that's the case, then how much money do you think you need to live comfortably? And so then we need to figure out how big we need to get this so that we can sell it for that amount based on, so those are things that we look at to start. And I think a lot of BCBAs come into this and they're exit. Like, dude, I just started this 2 months ago. Why would I be thinking about that? But it's really important, because if you don't know how this ends, you don't know where you're going, right? And I think that is where the struggle comes, when you get to year 3. It's like, why do I continue doing this? This is awful. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talk so much about vision for the business, but ultimately, as you're saying, having that vision for yourself, like, what are you doing this for? What is your vision for your life and how this looks for you right now within the business and then in the future? And one thing you said earlier, April, stood out to me in terms of just like giving services away for free or feeling really anxious when collecting payment or whatever, because I empathize with that a lot as someone who also just wants to do really good work. That is a key value and motivator for me, is like, I just want to like create value for people. And at the same time, it is a business that requires sustainability and requires me to be able to sustain my energy and things like that. And then part of that is being able to hire. And so it is this like growing and evolution process. In an ideal world, I would love to just like, keep doing good work and give it all away for free. But, what is the saying? The kind of cliche saying, like, no money, no mission.